And for the not game section, we are going to talk about Sinners, the movie Sinners. We will start with some non-spoiler thoughts and then get into spoilers. So we'll have that marked, timestamped, and noted for y'all to skip over in case you haven't seen Sinners yet. But if you haven't seen Sinners, it's funny because I heard about it and I was like, everyone says this movie's really good. And it has Michael B. Jordan in it. And that's really all I knew about Sinners going in. And then I was like, oh, apparently this is a horror movie. Is that still okay with you, Isaiah? Like, what are you thinking? And then I'm like, I Googled how scary is Sinners. And it said, Sinners is like kind of a thriller. And I'm like, that's not too bad. And ultimately, yeah, I would say it was not too scary at all.
Yeah,
I don't.
It definitely is more of that thriller vibe than like horror. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is great for me.
There's
I'm
like
a big baby.
One jump scare in the movie, maybe two or something. And by that, I mean, honestly, just like loud sound that happens abruptly more so than like something wild happening on screen. And also so much of the movie, like there is kind of an ominous undertone to aspects of the movie, like even just early on, but so much of it is like almost like slice of life story of just like what's going on. I mean, you know something bad's gonna happen just in the sense that you're like, okay, well this is like a horror film.
You know
so it's
something's
like,
gonna happen.
I actually didn't even see a trailer for this movie before I watched
really?
it. Yeah.
Oh,
all I knew was
okay.
Sinners, Michael B. Jordan, good, thriller, not too scary maybe. That's all I knew.
Oh, all right.
I didn't even know Michael B. Jordan was playing two people. I was like, what's going on? Like, okay, cool. Slay.
That's so funny.
Yeah, what did you know going into it? And then and then I thought it was good. That's again spoiler for thoughts.
No, it's a great movie. Going into it, I knew that it was Ryan Coogler, who did Fruitvale Station, Black Panther, incredible modern day director, who is really making a name for himself with some just incredible movies. I think he did also like one of the new Creeds, if I'm not mistaken, the ones with Michael B. Jordan. I think his sort of anchor is Michael B. Jordan. If Michael B. Jordan has been in a movie in the last couple of years, I feel like it's probably been a Ryan Coogler movie, which is pretty cool. And yeah, no, it's dope. I knew that again, it was something creepy going on. It was something somewhat scary, but I didn't know the exact like threat of the movie or anything like that was going on or what actually happens. I knew it was like kind of a black period piece kind of thing, which I think you again pretty quickly get from trailers. Like if you see any trailers, and yeah, no, that was good. I thought it was good. I know people really like it. I think I am colder than most people who watch it, but I still think it's a really, really good movie.
I agree. I'm like one little movie. Notch down. It's like, I thought it was like, good film, great film, but I wasn't like, oh my God, I'm going to put this on in a shrine or something kind of thing where I think a lot of people really, really like loved it. I think part of that could also just be like, in a way like genre affiliation or affinity, where I think for a lot of people, this is like, not pinnacle horror, but it's like, oh, it's doing like this genre so well in a way that like it's like referencing, but then I'm not a huge like horror person, so I'm like, this is just like a great movie. It was like entertaining and had some like really nice additional thematic layering, some really creatively shot scenes. It's like
a lot of incredible shot scenes.
It's a yummy film in that regard.
Yeah. Also fantastic music. Obviously, music plays not obviously, I guess, but music plays a big role in the movie, and there are some scenes and sections and performances that are just super good. From like almost the get-go. Like in the very beginning of the movie, they start hitting you with some banger songs and just like incredible sounds. And it just is a through line throughout the whole thing, which is really cool.
Spoilers? Spoiler time?
I guess we.
Do you have any other non-spoiler things to share?
We
with
said
people?
a general kind of movie is out. Definitely recommend go seeing it. Even if you're a baby like me, it is not too scary, I think, for most people to see it. There's a lot of like kind of comedic moments of relief, so you're not like like the thing I don't like about horror movies or scary things in general, games, whatever, is that like I don't like having that built up pressure of like tension inside of me, and I didn't get that in this movie. I got tension. There's definitely like build up of tension over time, but there's also enough like comedic relief, fun interactions between characters and actors and things like that like it releases the pressure valve enough that it's not you just carrying this.
It definitely was not a movie where I felt stressed almost ever. I definitely was it is one of those narrative constructions where I forget there's a word for this, but like where it leans into that like you the viewer know things that the other cast like doesn't.
Yes.
Again, there's a very common word for that. I just cannot remember what it is. And so it has like tension in that regard of, you know, I'm literally using a fake example. You know, the milk's expired, and I see Isaiah making a bowl of cereal, and I'm like, oh no, the milk is expired. He doesn't know the milk is expired. But versus like tension, like there's ominous like music, and I can feel like a building, or you know, like the tension you feel in, which is funnily enough is I guess almost a spoiler for another movie, but the what's the Jordan Peele film where there was the like monkey?
Nope.
Yes. Like there's a scene where like a kid is like hiding from something.
Yeah.
That like, oh my God, what's gonna happen? Because you really don't know like is the kid gonna be found? And that's a very common construction of like monsters in films of like, oh my God, you're hiding and like they're in the closet. Will they check the closet? Like it doesn't have that kind of tension. Like the tension is more, you know that something is amiss and the characters don't know, so the tension is like, it's more of a curiosity, like when are they going to find out? Is this going to turn out bad for them because they don't know what I know? Versus like in the scenes where like a monster is like hunting, is like lurking on somebody, you and the character that's in distress, you do not know what's going to happen. And you're like sharing the stress. So that's kind of the flavor of tension. It's more of like a curiosity than you're waiting for like, will the knife fall on someone's skull kind of thing, you know?
I would say it is almost akin, which funnily enough, there's another one coming out, is like the Final Destination movies, where it's like, oh, I know something's going to happen. I know like this character is going to die because death comes for them all kind of thing. But like, also like those movies, there's a lot of funny, dumb ways that people die or like things happen that kind of like, again, releases that pressure. You have a tension while you're watching it because you know it's going to happen, but you don't know necessarily maybe how it's going to happen. And so it's like, okay, it's cool. I can sit through this. I can watch it. Clearly something bad is going to happen, but that's not a surprise anymore. It's a journey of the bad stuff happening. And so like,
it definitely is a journey of like, you know, you don't literally know the end in the beginning, but you almost do, because honestly, there's a
little bit to a degree.
The construction of the film is essentially a flashback in a way. Like they show you a later scene, like this is just like literally like common sense in watching something. So I don't think it's a spoiler, but we're getting to spoilers in a second here. They like kind of start off with like stuff went down, you know, it's like one of the first scenes in the movie, and then you're working like from like they don't literally say like 2 days before. Actually, they might. I don't remember if they do. Like a day before. They're like the day before. So it's like, okay, cool. Something happened to create this scene. And you spend the movie, you know, watching, knowing something's going to happen. And then obviously as you watch the movie, like the sort of picture gets clearer on like what probably ends up happening. But it's funny. It's almost like in the, and this happens a lot in games actually, where the fact that it is a game is like a spoiler for the game. It's like, well, I know, almost like, you know, again, I talk about Clear Obscure, the key art having like these party members. It's like, well, I don't think I need to worry that much about finding Debbie because she kind of is in the marketing of fighting in the game. So I think I'm going to find Debbie. You know what I mean? So I just kind of have that, but obviously that's intentional and known. So it's not like, oh, there's no surprises or fun to be had in the movie. But that also, I think, creates some of that relief of like, well, I know where at one point they're going to get to this scene, you know, almost like That's So Raven, right? Where you're like, okay, well, maybe they'll get there in a way that I don't expect.
That's So Raven call is so legit.
Because that's the whole thing of That's So Raven, you know? It's like, okay, well, obviously maybe it'll be in a way that is different than what's presented. But I know that, like, I'm going to see this scene. Now, what comes after this scene? I don't know that. How do we get to the scene? I don't know that. But I know that we're getting this scene later and we're working up to it. And there's like an excitement in that ramp up. Okay, now I think spoilers on for Sinners?
Yeah, say going into spoiler mode for Sinners. If you haven't seen it, feel free to click away, fast forward to the poll of the show, go back and listen to the spoiler free section again, and we'll see you in a bit.
Yay! All right, Sinners. Yeah, this movie was like fun as hell. And I loved all the music in this movie. Because music isn't just like a big part of the movie; it's like a key. It's kind of like a, again, my stupid English background. It's like music is a character in itself in this film, but I think that's really cool, and beautiful and striking. I guess I'm kind of throwing this on you for a second. Can you give me a quick, I guess, like plot overview, and then we'll start going into maybe stuff that stood out to us in the film that we liked about it, things we didn't like, or things that just kind of colored our experience.
Sure. So
I will fill in anything that you forget, but
so the movie follows a character who I know his nickname. I'm trying to think of what his actual
like
name.
Michael B. Jordan's character?
No, Preacher Boy. What's like Preacher Boy's
his real name? I don't know.
Anyways.
I think they just call him Preacher Boy,
right,
honestly.
Well, sure.
Yes.
Follows the character Preacher Boy. He's the son of a preacher.
Yeah.
And he's a musician. The opening scene is kind of him driving back to his dad's service. He kind of walks in, he's all bloodied and scarred, and he's got like a broken guitar. His dad, being a preacher, is like, cast away the sins, come back to us, blah blah blah, and then it like cuts to like the day before.
Yeah,
and we find out that Preacher Boy he has two twin cousins, the Smokestack twins, one named Smoke, one named Stack, both played by Michael B. Jordan. They come back into town. They move back into this Mississippi town after being in Chicago for a bit.
Shout out Chicago mentioned. I was like, yep. Yeah.
They come back. They have this money. They presumably made it big. Did some really good business deals or something in Chicago, and now they're coming back to Mississippi to try and start a new business venture, being a kind of like music joint, a nightclub almost kind of thing.
Juke joint.
Yeah, juke joint. And so they, the most of the movie is actually them kind of like preparing for the opening night to this juke joint that they're opening. They, bought it in the very beginning of the beginning
just
really
of the movie. Feel like an episode in a way, yeah.
They bought it in the beginning of the movie. They kind of like spend the day getting their old friends and colleagues and, people who they know and used to associate with and whatnot to like kind of help put together, food for opening night, music acts for opening night. Help cater and paint.
They had one hell of a day. I know there was two of them.
Yeah.
There was only one actor, but like they had to do a lot of work because they're like they bought it and then they're like, we're opening tonight.
Yeah.
From like presumably like
maybe it was that this is like a
day
week or something.
Yeah. But yeah. They basically did all the main work. I mean, I guess they maybe redid the floors and stuff, presumably. Because it was like was it like a wheat
slaughterhouse, I think.
Oh, a slaughterhouse.
Okay,
well,
that
makes
sense. Yeah.
Yeah,
like
that they bought from this like white guy, which was also like a point of contention.
So they do this, they prep it. Very early on, we see that there's this Irish vampire who's a sort of the main antagonist of the movie.
It was a sawmill, by the way.
That was sawmill.
Yeah.
Irish vampire protagonist guy who we see him kind of like trick these other white people to get into their house, to invite him into their house, and then he turns them, and they're kind of like the main trio bad group of people. During the opening night of the juke joint, we see they come up, they try to get invited in, presumably just so they can just start killing people, eating them and turning them in and everything like that. They get turned away. The Smokestack twins sent one of the twins, I forget if it was Smoke or if it's Stack. I think it's Smoke. It was Stack. He sends his old Boothang, Haley's character, to kind of like go check him out because she's essentially white and white passing. Yeah,
Stack's ex.
The she goes out there, she gets turned, comes back, turns stack. Then the main crew kind of starts seeing like, yo, what's going on? Things are happening. What's going? People are dropping like flies. They're getting turned. They're evil. They're dead. Annie, who is Smoke's ex, either wife or at least girlfriend, who's like very known into like the supernatural kind of things, recognizes that they're vampires and kind of starts telling them like, oh, get garlic and this, that, and the third, blah, blah, blah. Eventually there's a big fight between the vampires and the characters who are sort of still in the sawmill house, the juke joint. And a bunch of people come in. The vampires are turning people. They're dying left and right. People are shooting and killing and stabbing and blah, blah, blah. Eventually, the main vampire guy kind of corners Preacher Boy, and he just really wants to turn Preacher Boy. I don't know if it's because my understanding is because Preacher Boy has like a musical affinity or something, and there's something again with the music.
There's sort of like the idea. Like one of the core things with the music is like the music is evil, like, or has the ability to, it's not even that the music is evil. I guess that kind of is in a way one of the messages, but like, the music has like a supernatural capability. Like one of the things that gets introduced like in the sort of midpoint, like one of the big rising action moments is that if you play and you kind of like can play like well enough and like you really like get into it enough, you can sort of jump across time and like meld time together. So like there's this incredible scene of like him playing, and as he's playing, like you see these other they're kind of like spirits, but they do take like for the viewer a corporal form. Like they look like just like regular people in the scene. You'll see like older African people like coming in doing very traditional dances, and then you also see like modern day like 2020s like dancing. You see like 90s break dancing. You see like twerking. You see like all these different like elements of people playing music across time, and a couple different I think cultures as well. Like one of the big parts of this is they have the like the Asian shopkeepers. So you see like some like members of like the Asian community from like previous like Asian ancestors like coming in and dancing. So it's like all these people dancing together, and the idea that like music can break down time. And I guess like in my perception is like in breaking time, you don't there's like a saying of like sometimes you leave a door open, you don't know who you're gonna allow in or something. Like I don't know if you've ever heard of, I'm kind of butchering the saying, but I think that's like kind of giving the devil away in a way. Like I don't know if the message is necessarily like music is purely evil. I think that's maybe a little bit too like extreme, but there is like something to the music that can turn dark. Specifically, I think to like secular music, because you see music being used in the church and it's like not that way. And that's kind of like, and that's what like the twins or one of the twins like proposed to him of like, you can still like play music, but like just go and do the church stuff. Like don't come out here like at the bars and stuff, because like this is the devil basically. So that's sort of I think why he's like obsessed with like Preacher Boy in that way. There's that great scene of him hitting him with the guitar, and since the guitar has that steel, silver plate, it like sears into his mind in like a really really cool way. That whole scene is just like English major Bible like feast of like the baptism of going under the water and all of that. I'm like, oh my god, that's so cool.
I think this is definitely one of those movies where if you're a dumb like me, you're gonna be able to appreciate just the art and display of what's going on, and definitely like follow the story enough to like be able to appreciate it and like it. But I think there's so many artistic and literary choices that are made that went over my head that didn't detract from the movie, but it doesn't elevate. Like I'm too dumb to appreciate some of the like layers of artistic art going on in it. So for me, it's like, oh, no,
you saw that as a baptism,
movie.
Right? Like,
no,
really?
No, not at all.
You got to get on this Bible, Isaiah. That's really where, honestly, so much of my stuff there's also like the English majorness of things. I was very into like literature in high school. I studied it in college, so obviously I gained more stuff there. But so much, like, I was raised Catholic and did catechism classes on Sundays, did my sacraments and stuff, and also a lot of that combined with like being, American in America, just like you. But obviously you have to be able to clock it to like know it's happening. Like, so much stuff is like based on just the Bible, and obviously like the Bible is also. I know some people would be offended by this because, like, obviously, if you believe in like the Bible, that hits different than like if you don't. Like, I'm an atheist, so I don't find that stuff to be like, I don't hold it in the same reverence or esteem or whatever. But all of this stuff is the same stuff. Again, like the saying of there's only like 8 stories or whatever it is, whatever number that it is. It's like it's all like Greek myth, and that's also why like some people think like religion's a little I don't know so much because there's so many like so we all have the same like 6 stories but told different ways. Like I think so yeah, like so you see like a lot of this stuff come up over and over again. So it's like, well, obviously this is like this thing, but yeah. So it's very very tropey in a good way. It was fun for me seeing some of the like. I'm by no means like a vampire because it's a vampire movie basically, and I don't really know like anything about vampires. Played Castlevania, a long time ago, but I don't like follow a lot of vampire lore. But it's funny because through like an entirely separate conversation and I told you the story when we finished watching the film on Remap, we had been talking about vampires and like Castlevania and like whether or not the Castlevania show gets kind of like sexual, and I guess it does. I didn't watch it. I hear it's a really good show, the animated Castlevania show. I just haven't seen it.
I've seen the first season. It's amazing.
And does it get sexual? I don't know if in that first season there's any
not that I can recall, but I also only saw sort of the beginning.
And parts. I was like, what's with that? It's like always like what's up with that?
Why are vampires sexy?
Yeah, and it's because like they're like inherently like seductress characters, in part because of like the physicality of like the biting, and also like because of that they sort of are like these like seducers, whether that's like sexual or just by like talking you into something, which you see a lot of that in the film of people like presenting. It's not always, sometimes it is sexual. Like the film definitely has like a lot of sexual scenes in it. Well, I guess not a lot. It has a very
horny movie.
It has like 2 sex scenes in it, which I guess is 2 more than some films.
I think,
but they talk about
there's
sex
still
a
sex
lot.
conversations and everything. Yeah,
they specifically talk a lot about oral sex, like eating women out. That's like a big theme of the film, and it's like that makes sense when you get towards the like last third, when the vampire stuff goes down, because it is like a feast of flesh. So it's like, oh, they didn't spend so much time. So it's like, oh, it's all like paying off, like in a way, which I thought was really cool. But yes, like they are like the idea of what's her name, Mary,
Haley's character, yeah,
like Mary having that like big sex scene where she like spits into his mouth, which also is like going very viral on like TikTok now. People talking about like, it's crazy that he's spitting Michael Jr. in the mouth. It's like, it's just a job, guys. Like, but they're like, oh my god, like anyway. But yeah, like that is like part of this whole like the flesh and all of that. So so yeah, it was cool seeing like some of those tropes kind of come to life and their take on it and all of that. Yeah, but yeah, it was really like, it was a really cool film, and it was fun seeing, I think, like the sort of vampire as like the devil temptation in a way too, of like, again, it wasn't always just sexual. It was also, people coming up and being like, we can like be together, we can like be immortal, or we can like also have our own freedom. Like that was a big like thing in the film, because the film takes place in 1932, which is like Jim Crow era South, where there's like Jim Crow laws, and like racism is extremely prevalent. Obviously, like racism, spoilers, still exists today, but it's like even more ingrained in like the culture, in the law, and part of them having this like juke joint that's like, the forest bias. That's like one of the lines that like is said in the movie, and then this idea of like, we're never really going to be free of like, the white man and like racism, and have our own space, because even with this, like it gets revealed at one point of like, oh, like that guy who sold it to you, like he's a Klansman, he's gonna come kill you. Like this is never gonna work out.
Yeah,
so like you only have this like one night anyway, so you kind of might as well just like become a vampire because then. And then there was also like this like pivot of like, we'll take out the Klan as like a vampire cast in like a trippy way, which also like, you know, the first vampires in the film, maybe not the first Irish guy, but like the house he goes into is a house of like Klansmen.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. They were also
like you see like the hood in the back or whatever. So yeah, there's a lot of like that element too, which it, you know, and towards the end it has that great scene of like of who's left. Is it because I'm like, who turns? Smoke turns. Yes, no, Stack turns. Smoke is alive. For a while towards the end, like he dies, but he dies in that shootout with like the Klansmen, where he was like, if you come onto my property, like I'm gonna shoot you on sight. And he was like so ready
about it. Yeah,
and I love that scene. Like I love in media when you see a bunch of Klansmen get killed. Like that is a trope that like it never gets old. I'm like clapping, standing, you know. That was a really satisfying like scene to have in there. You always need a bit of the catharsis after the tragedy, you know. So, but yeah, what are some standout things for you in the film?
I mean, again, I'm dumb, so like I feel like there's a lot of the parts of a lot of this movie. I'm definitely not going to do it in theaters.
You're not dumb.
It's so expensive. But I want to see this movie again to see like, okay, now that I know what happens, like I've seen it and I know what happens. I want to rewatch it now with the lens of that and like
reading.
I guess the second watching is like, oh, okay, like they did foreshadow these things and like I want to be able to connect the literary elements now that I know what to look for. But yeah, no, I think that honestly it was also shot incredibly well. Like I know that you know, the artistic side of it as far as like the writing and the story and everything is one thing, but just like the visual shooting transitions, shot setup, like those are also like I picked up on my first watch. I picked up on a lot of that. Like, oh, this is really cool when they switch to we watched it in IMAX, and it's like there are scenes where the camera like opens up and the scene like in a single shot, like it opens up and it feels bigger and brighter, and they do that to like frame the scene a certain way. Like all of that was really, really good, really incredible. I think Coogler is he's already kind of like mastering that craft, I think, really well. Even just like going back to him breaking down some like Black Panther scenes, and like when Black Panther came out, awesome, fantastic movie. It's like he did some breaking down of like, oh yeah, and then we like shot it from here because we wanted to make it feel this and then that, and it's like you could just see this man thinks about all of that stuff, which I'm sure a lot of directors do. But he, you know, expresses and shares that he thinks about it and why he wanted to do something to get a specific feel or vibe or whatever. So great movie. Go see it. I want to see it again, maybe at home when I can pause and rewind and rewatch. And I also had to use the bathroom at a certain point.
Oh yeah, you did use the bathroom at one point.
So there was like, I don't know, a 5-6 minute scene or something like that I missed.
I wrote down what was happening. So you could
I appreciate that.
Read it when you got back.
And yeah, so you know, it's cool. To me, this is a great movie. I don't know if I would go amazing.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I think, you know, without being more of like a, again, I'm not a film person. I'm just someone. Yeah, I think this is like my bio on Letterboxd says game critic who watches movies sometimes, and that is genuinely like I'm just a regular person. Yeah, this is a normie take on Sinners, not a you know. I mean, I got a freaking C in my film studies class, so I'm no filmologist by any means. Yeah. Did you have any favorite characters that you want to shout out in the film?
Ooh, honestly, everyone was good. I liked Preacher Boy. I liked Smoke and Stack. I even liked the vampire. Like it was everyone played their role really, really well. I thought it was really cool. The Asian couple. You had the harmonica, the like old jazz player. You had Cornbread.
He's honestly like my favorite. Apparently his name was Delta Slim. I'm like, I don't remember saying his name. Nope. So but yeah, pianist, alcoholic musician. He was just great. Yeah. He was like real as fuck for everything that he did and everything that he said. Yeah, I mean, it's a really like likable cast, and I think, I don't know, it was kind of fun, like the construction of the film of like they sort of assembled this dream team of people to like make this opening night happen, and they all had like, I don't know, their own personalities and like motivations and things that I think came to life nicely in this like the juke joint that they made became such like a, I love the like lead up to building it, and then like when you got to be there, like it really did become like a home for the story in a way that felt very like intense. Like you really like, you know, gain an affinity for it. I also really like Annie, Smoke's wife, just because I don't know, she was just dope, and she knew a lot of shit. Like you know what I mean. I think that's like a good. And this is what I mean by like when I didn't talk about this part for like Claire Obscura, but like one element of Claire Obscura that's like a little eye rolly for me. It's just not my favorite trope. I get that it's like a very classic trope. Is like the man who isn't good at doing things being like me, and then there's like the like more capable woman who like knows stuff, who just like isn't the leader though. I think they do a good job like not fully going into that, because Annie definitely does play the role of like she is so knowledgeable on like spirituality and sort of and myth and supernatural stuff, but not in a way where like the brothers are like incapable, like you know what I mean, like they like, and they also like acquiesce to what her ideas are like more quickly than like
they very
there's
much,
not like as much resistance in that way, so it doesn't
I would
feel
say there's like no resistance. Like they very much were like, yo, she said you can't come.
Well, he didn't want to move the body out. His brother's body.
I think that was more just because it was his brother's body. Like, you know what I mean?
But like yeah.
To me, that was not a negative to her expertise in the field.
No, I don't think it was like about that necessarily, but like there was a little bit of like, oh, I don't know. And then, you know, once it became clear that like, wait, yeah, I think there's like some like fucked up stuff going on here. But yeah, I also think so much of this film nicely leans into the like a more realistic like reaction, like when like stuff was going down, and I keep always mixing up like Stack. And so Stack was the one that turned because he's with Mary. Like when Mary turned around and she was like full on vampire, she just got shot in the head like 3 times. Like there was no like, it's like, yes, this is like a real ass reaction. Also, the fight scene that happens is like so incredible.
Yeah, no, the action, there's a surprising amount of action that is like good, and not just like weird.
It was giving Resident
Evil
4 before you leave the town, like you know, like that scene where you're stuck in the barn and everyone's coming through the windows. It reminded me of that, but like a bit better, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, man, no, it was good. There's so many good things to like about this film, and like very few, if anything, to dislike. Like I can't think of anything to dislike about this film. Which is crazy. Like that's to me an accomplishment all on its own. Yeah,
I agree. Maybe we'll see. Every year I want October to be my ultimate time of horror and spooky things, but every year it's not really what I want to be. I usually dip my toe a little bit into a couple films, but nothing crazy. So maybe we throw that in as a rewatch or something. But yeah, good times with Sinners. I should maybe consume more vampire stuff. I do think it's one of those films where my guess is that you appreciate it a lot more heavily if you know vampire films more and vampire lore more, just as like what are they doing with that trope and how are they like doing it, versus me being like, I gotta be honest, I don't know if I've ever like how much vampire content I've gotten in my life. I don't think very much.
I know they suck blood. I don't think very much. And like, I
didn't even know that I need to be invited in.
Oh,
like,
really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No. I played some Castlevania when I was young, and
well, he's in his own house, so I guess it's
it's like I don't know, like we're going in, right? Or I don't know, there's something going on with that. And then you know, I know it's not 1-to-1, but like never got into Twilight, so don't know what's going on there. Yeah, but good movie. I don't know if this is this the only movie we've seen from this year?
Oh man. In theaters, I think so. Yes. No, I saw one other movie, but I can't talk about it because it was a early screening preview.
Oh, okay.
It was not good.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this is the only movie I saw in theaters then this year?
Yeah, I think I am the same. You know, we don't go to a lot of movies. It is expensive, y'all. And I know you can have the AMC stubs, but AMC stubs is really only worth it if you're like going to be on it, and we're not going to be going that often. I still stand by my dream of one day living like basically walking distance to an AMC, and then I would just be living in the AMC, and it would be a pretty sweet life. Okay, cool. Any other, I guess, Sinners thoughts to throw out there before we close out this section?
No, just, Ryan Coogler, please keep doing what you're doing. If you want to ever collab with Jordan Peele, I'm sure you guys will make an incredible, groundbreaking film.
I was
together.
taking notes down when the trailers were going, and I was like, I kind of want that. The other one's it's produced by Jordan, that football movie.
Yeah. I Am Him, I think it is, or something.
Yeah. I was like, I was locked in for that. I'm not gonna lie. So, you just say Jordan Peele watched the movie, and I'd be like, you know what?
Do it all?
Okay. I was like, you know what? This seems pretty good. I think it's just called Him, actually. But yeah, so we'll see. I'm sure we'll catch some other stuff in theaters. But yeah, this is one of the big ones of the year that people are kind of clamoring over. So it's
I also feel like it came out of nowhere too.
It really did. I didn't feel like there was much like the marketing did not reach me.
Sure,
I'm sure there was marketing, but I didn't really see anything. But yeah, I mean, everyone said it was really good, and yeah, it was really good.
Yeah,
we won. Successful movie trip.